After her father is kidnapped by a group of raiders, can a non-violent optimistic daughter would be able to find her father in landscapes full of chaos, death and violence? Let's talk about Amazon Prime's Fallout. Why do we get excited about watching or playing post-apocalyptic games and stories? One reason for it can be that they provide a simulation of how the world will turn out after a disaster, a haunting picture composed of dust and death. The second reason can be that post-apocalyptic stories teaches the audience about surviving in a hopeless world, a world littered with death and suffering, where the limited resources of food and water becomes the new gold and diamond, a world where morality is like a dry leaf, where death plays a hideous game. Post-apocalyptic genre storytelling became popular in video games, with games like Resident Evil and Fallout becoming a landmark and inspiration for future games like The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. Then came the TV or movie adaptations of video games. I think it will be safe to say Resident Evil game series is good, but Resident Evil movies and TV series were very bad. And so were films like Tomb Raider or Assassin's Creed. But with the new TV adaptations of video games, they have finally found a footing. In 2023, HBO smashed it out of the park with extremely haunting, chilling adaptation of The Last of Us. It turned out to be such a good show that it was hailed as one of the best adaptations of a video game. Now Amazon has entered the arena with their own TV adaptation of Fallout. But does it give a fair fight to The Last of Us? Let's find out. So even though Fallout the series is set in the world of Fallout, it follows new characters and new storylines specifically created for the show. The character which takes us on this brutal journey is Lucy McLean, a naive, sweet, optimistic woman who's never seen a shade of violence and brutality, as she has lived her whole life inside a scientifically designed underground vault. Lucy is the resident of Vault 32, where she does plumbing repairs and also teaches American history with focus on ethics. Lucy gets very happy when her application for marriage gets accepted and she is to be married to an unknown man from Vault 33. But her wedding night turned into a bloody fiasco when Lucy's new husband Monty turns out to be a part of a rebel group who arrive and start a bloody carnage, killing some members of Vault 32 and kidnapping Lucy's father Hank McLean. The lady leader of the group, Lee Moldauer, looking at Hank with burning fire for revenge. To get her father back, Lucy decides to run out from her underground safe haven comfortable vaults to travel to the dangerous landscapes of Wasteland. The reality on the ground, the arena of cruelty and death, where Lucy will go through on a paranoid wild ride full of monsters, ghouls, and other inevitable quests and threats. In this paranoid journey, she comes across two characters, Maximus and the Ghoul. So how is Amazon's Fallout? Well, though sometimes Fallout meanders in between in terms of plot, it's still one of the most fun, memorable shows I've seen in a while. The casting of Fallout is bang on, with the highlight of the show is Walter Goggins as former cowboy actor now turned the Ghoul. While totally dangerous and merciless as the Ghoul, we also get to see the human side of Goggins' character, who before the nuclear annihilation was a cowboy actor named Cooper Howard. Calm, kind, loving husband and father. As the Ghoul, Goggins brings the brutal and fearful swag to the character, his no-nose appearance enough to chill the blood. Cooper Howard is the total opposite of the Ghoul, and how Goggins takes a calm approach to play this character. While the Ghoul thinks fast and shoots first, Cooper Howard takes a passive approach, feeling hesitant about taking any action. By the time the series ends, Cooper finds out a secret that will turn his life upside down. Ella Prunell as Lucy is a very fun protagonist too. She plays Lucy as a naive, optimistic, bubbly woman who later finds out that following the ways of the vault in the wasteland will lead to her death. Another good casting is Aaron Moulton as Maximus, who's part of a military organization called Brotherhood of Steel. Maximus is aiming to become its Lord Titus Knight so that he can get to wear that buffed up, very cool looking, powerful armor. Maximus has ambitions, but he lacks confidence. He gets bullied and gets beaten up every day by some other members of the group, and no one really cares about him except his friend aspirant Dane. Maximus is chosen as a squire for one of the suit-wearing men, but when Maximus sees an opportunity to get inside one of those suits, Maximus will do anything, even if it will lead to his death. Another outstanding element of the show is the production design. The designs of the vaults are exceptionally well done, a luxury safe haven which also breeds its own dark secrets. But it's the cruel landscape of the wasteland that adds the real tension in the story. Destroyed houses in the desert, destroyed cities, it really portrays the reality of a world destroyed by nuclear anarchy. In Fallout, meeting with the dangers has grave consequences, and it all results in scenes of very cool gory violence which is done for humor and shown in a very cartoonish way. Even though Fallout is a good show, there are some minor setbacks. There are some episodes where story meanders in an unnecessary direction before getting back on track. For example, in episode 6, even though we get to see more of Walter Goggins' character Cooper Howard backstory, it doesn't really add anything important to Lucy's and Maxima's stories, and it goes on for too long and for no better reason. It kind of feels like a stretch. Overall, Fallout is occasionally meandering, but for most parts, it's a thrill ride. A brilliant cocktail of amazing character arcs, story blended with salty and tasty bloody violence, but also a haunting reminder to us what our future will be if nuclear arsenal became the first weapon in war.